argument of what was the Platonic influence. Well, to see the Platonic influence means that you're picking up stuff that we did in chapter 1, right? So you'll be familiar with a lot of that. But what it goes further is that we use the dialogues, some of the other dialogues, more specifically, the Euthyphro, the Apology. I'm not sure if the Crito is in there. But at any rate, we use them to show the basis of the argument that Plato is putting forth. And what he's doing is constructing a model for what true religion should be. He doesn't call it true religion. But it's the model that then the Christian church and their theology is going to use. You see, which is just like Plato said, there's one concept of truth. And that's why what he did was to use this concept of truth ideologically. I say that because he said there was only one way to reach truth. And you had to come this way. And that was their way. So now what does the religion say? It says there's only one true God. And to get to it, you got to come through us. And to come through us means being our slaves. So, you know, it fit. They were using the pattern that had already been established. Then you're going to get the same themes. You're going to get them even trying to make the religion rational. Big discussion of that. You got Aquinas in there, you got Leibniz, who have these long so-called religious tracts, which sound ridiculous. You know, it sounds like they're talking about math or whatever they're talking about, but certainly not what we would consider to be God. Okay, the reason they do that is because they've got to make it fit this truth thing, which makes them superior. So it's the same thing over again. Then one of the things you look at is on page 117, the Judaic heritage. And that's about what was it that this Judaic statement brought to the table, brought to the picture, that made it European, if you will, made it Western, if you will. And there are certain things we'll look at. The emphasis on written codification, the way it reified or hardened the ideas, the deification of the word. Okay, again, the object. The monotheistic ideal. Page 120, try to outline the argument that's being made there. The Savior complex, they state all of that. The seeds of universalism. Very importantly, what they do, you get the secularization of history under this statement, within this statement, the Judaic statement. There are quotes here from Deuteronomy. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with Deuteronomy. I don't know how familiar you are with the Old Testament or with the Bible. On page 123. But Deuteronomy is very, very clear about who's us and who's them, about who's the enemy and what you're supposed to do to the enemy when you see the enemy, or even before you see the enemy, even after you've killed the enemy. You know, it talks about the children, what you're supposed to do to the children, what you're supposed to burn, and all of that. Okay, so it's a very in one sense, aggressive, but aggressive because it's defensive statement. And what it was saying was there's these special group of people we will put here to be the models for everybody. And if anybody else has another way of worshiping, you're supposed to kill them. That's what it says. Okay? So this, we get the Judaic statement. Read that and see what you think about that. Well, then why was there this split between the Judaic statement and then what became the Christian statement. I mean, they came from the same book, right? So what happened? Why should there be this antagonism? So I'll let you read that yourself. I put forth an argument there, an interpretation and an analysis, historical and cultural, as to why the two had to split. And I'm saying, of course, what do you think I would say? I would say that according to the Asili, as the Asili was developing, that the Judaic statement was not enough, that you needed more. You needed something which was more imperialistic, more expansive even than what was already in that statement. Okay, always looking at the Asili and looking at the need for world domination and world power. And that's what happened. It became a statement of, you know, of world control. Then the next period, and this gets easier, straightforward, that people shouldn't have any problem following. The Roman, what I call the Roman co-optation. Okay, why should the Romans, who had been supposedly persecuting these people who call themselves Christians, suddenly they became the Christians themselves? Okay, why should that happen? Well,